1.4, compound interest present value. We're going to determine the principal or present value of an investment given its future value and compound interest rate. So in other words, I want to save money. How much money do I have to put in today knowing how much it's compounded and its interest rate? Okay, so after 5 years, after graduating from college, Cal wants to spend a year traveling Canada's 3 territories. He's going to start in the Yukon, travel to the Northwest Territories, and finally to Nunavut. He's determined that he's going to need $15,000. To reach his goal, he wants to invest money now. He has chosen a GIC at 7% compounded annually. So we're dealing with compound interest. It's going to be compounded annually. So here's what we know. We know his future value is $15,000. That's what he wants to have when he's done. His interest rate says 7% here. Okay, and that's compounded annually. So we don't need to divide by 4, divide by 12. It's not compounded monthly, it's just annually. They're going to throw questions at you where it is monthly, semi-annually, things like that. The number of times it's compounded. Well, since it's annual and he has 5 years, it's only going to be compounded 5 times. And again, they're going to switch that up. What we don't know is P. So the formula we do know is the future is equal to, why did I just forget it? To P times 1 plus I to the n. Okay, so I'm solving for P. I want to get P all by itself. I'm going to divide both sides by 1 plus I to the power of n. Okay, so here when you have two common factors, like if I had x squared over x squared, that would just be 1. So we're going to replace that with 1. P times 1 is just P. So I know that my future rate divided by 1 plus I to the power of n is equal to my present value, or my principal. So going back to the question, we're going to use this new formula that we've developed. So 15,000 divided by 1 plus our interest rate, which is 0.7, to the power of n, which is 5, is going to give us our present value. So if you spend some time and you put that in your calculator, being very careful with order of operations and brackets, you should get 10,694.79. So do spend a second with your calculator making sure you can get that answer. Okay, and if you're ever struggling with your calculator, don't be afraid to send me an email and I can try and give you a hand. Or if you talk to any math teacher, they should be able to help you using your own calculator. Okay, so he would need to invest just over $10,000, actually almost $11,000 today, and then in 5 years he would have that. Okay, let's try another question here. So Laura has invested $15,500 in a registered education savings plan. So it's a special account that will help her save for maybe her daughter's education, it looks like. She wants her investment to grow to at least $50,000 by the time her newborn enters university, in other words, in 8 years. What interest rate, compounded annually, will result in a future value of $50,000? Round your answer to 2 decimal places. Okay, so now we don't know interest rate. So what she's going to do is she's going to be shopping around for the best interest rate. So we know our principal is 15,500. We know our future is 50,000. And we know our time, or our how many times it's going to be compounded. It's annually and it's 18 years. Okay, so it's just 18. We don't have to do any multiplying. Again, they're going to throw questions at you where it's going to be compounded monthly, semi-annually, things like that. Okay, so now we need to solve for I. I is what we don't know. Okay, so our formula again is A equals P1 plus I to the power of n. And we're going to solve for I. Okay, so first of all, we're going to get rid of this p. We're going to divide both sides by p. We're going to get a divided by p is equal to 1 plus I to the power of n. Okay, if I told you that x squared is equal to 25, in order to solve for x, I would square root both sides. If I told you x cubed is equal to 27, I would cube root each. Okay, Okay, so in order to get this 1 plus I all by itself, I'm going to nth root. There's a term for you. I'm going to nth root. Okay, so now I'm going to be left with on this side 1 plus I. Over here I have the nth root of A over P. Okay, so getting I by itself, I need to subtract 1 on both sides. I'm going to minus 1. Careful, that's outside of, I'm actually just going to rewrite it. It's outside of the square root sign. It's not underneath the square root sign. And our final formula is going to be the nth root of A over P minus 1 is equal to 1. Oops. Well, if I have 1 minus 1, I'm just left with I, which is what I was trying to do. Okay, so now we're going to just put in those values. So n we said was 18. We're going to do the 18th root of A divided by P. A was 50,000, P was 50,000. P was 15, I can't remember, 15.5? Yeah, 15.5. Okay, we're going to subtract 1 from that, and that's going to give us our interest rate. Okay, so again, order of operations. We're going to do division first. 50,000 divided by 1550, and then we're going to do the square, the 18th root. So that button on your calculator, I'll do it on mine here. So I have 50,000 divided by 15500. I'm going to press equal, and then there should be a button where it's y square root x. You're going to put that in, and you're going to put 18. And that should give you your value. Then we're going to subtract 1 from that, and our interest rate was about 6.7%. That's our interest rate. Okay? Now she wants her investment to grow to $60,000 instead of $50,000. So now I am going to change this value to 60, and n is going to be my unknown, and I'm going to use the interest rate I'm given. So just another example of a question that could be asked. Okay, so really this is just using that same equation, and we're manipulating it, and we're solving for principal or for interest. Okay, so nothing new, just tweaking what we already know. So here's a formula. Here's the formula that has been solved for P. Here we have all different forms of the formula. This is something we didn't look at, but they will ask you to compare investments usually with the same term or principal. The ratio of the future value to the present value is sometimes used. Okay?